There is a liberal thought leader. His name is Jon Favreau. And he said, what you're about to see is the most powerful message to young men in the entire campaign. And it came from a woman who is very good at persuading young men. She has a lot of gravitas. She is very, very popular-ish. Her name is Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama is so popular that it couldn't possibly compare to the popularity of Jake Paul, who just recently, in fact, I think he did this on Thursday, endorsed President Trump. Jake Paul, lining up to fight Mike Tyson, has 80 million followers, and he is encouraging them to vote for Trump. So Michelle Obama came in with a very, very powerful statement to young men. Now, I'm not here to tell you that Jake Paul is a good person. I don't know that Jake Paul is a good person. And I hope Tyson wins, but that's beside the point. So what is this message that's so potent that Jon Favreau, who used to be a speechwriter for Obama and is a thought leader of the Democrat Party, says is the most powerful in the nation? I'll share that with you in a second, but as a warm-up note to that, Nicholas Kristof, who used to be an economist and has a bad case of the Trump derangement syndrome, he posted a tweet, and he just did this on the 29th of October, 2024. A struggling Nevada mom suffered a miscarriage. Then the police show up and arrest her for manslaughter, and she's sentenced to 2.5 to 8 years in prison. Only when a pro bono lawyer steps up and appeals does a judge reverse the conviction and set her free to return to her children. This is family values. Think about this as you vote. And he links to a Washington Post article. Community Notes on Twitter added a very helpful series of facts. Number one, she smoked meth while pregnant. 2 crimes. Her baby was well past viability. Autopsy said 28 to 32 weeks. Number 3, she admitted she did it to kill the baby. Number 4, law enforcement believes that the baby was born alive and then killed. Number 5, this was in 2018, before Roe versus Wade was overturned. But aside from that, strong point. This is directly related to what Michelle Obama said to young men when she told them to go out and get some, baby. Go out and get some and let the consequences be danged. There's consequences for the decisions that we make in life. Often those consequences land on our bodies. Sometimes it's not even by choice. I have a number of friends who have just absolutely brutalized their bodies serving our country. My friend Tim, my friend Mike, others have brutalized their bodies because they jump out of perfectly good airplanes and they land and they do these annoying things like getting shot and blown up by IEDs. Very often they're told by medical officials, you know what, it's just surgery. Surgery and pills for the rest of your life. I think of another friend, Chris, being told the same thing. Dude, you're going to have surgery in your back. That's not always the case. In America, we have banned a very specific miraculous treatment, and we've banned it in favor of pharma and surgery. It is treatment with stem cells. Now, you don't get these stem cells in America. It doesn't happen because it's an illegal process. It's not illegal in Mexico. These are stem cells from placentas and umbilical cords only. Never anything to do with abortion, not ever. In the case of Renew.Healthcare, they step up and pay for the birthing process of the women whose stem cells they want to use. And they pay for it no matter if they accept the stem cells or not, because they only accept a very small percentage because they want the best stem cells for you. Stem cells are miraculous. They're designed to build babies. So they're sitting there ready to build. I want to build something, baby. Let me build. But they don't know what to build until they're put in your body. And then they can build cartilage, muscle, tendon. And one of the first things they do is they destroy inflammation in your body. So find out if you really need to get cut open or if you can use stem cells. Go to renew.healthcare. It's RENUE.healthcare. And please tell them you're part of the Todd Herman Show family, podcast, radio show, YouTube. Renew.healthcare. So a former Obama speechwriter, this guy's Jon Favreau, and he says on his Twitter account, he's the other one. There's a screenwriter named Jon Favreau. They're not the same guy. He says this is the most powerful statement to young men in the entire presidential campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, an influencer of young men, Michelle Obama.
So to the men who love us, let me just try to paint a picture of what it will feel like if America, the wealthiest nation on earth, keeps revoking basic care from its women.
Just would note here stylistically, do you notice that she does the same exact speech as Barack Obama? Same cadence, same turning of the head, same rhythm, same fake pauses like she's trying to think about things. Even if you're watching the video version of this, even facial structure. Now, couples can end up looking like one another after time. So there's that. But it is such a clear indicator of what a put on this is that Michelle Obama is one of those people who read anything from any teleprompter at any time.
And how it will affect every single woman in your life. Your girlfriend could be the one in legal jeopardy if she needs a pill from out of state or overseas.
Every single woman. You know, women who are past childbearing age, they've been through menopause, it'll affect them. Women who choose not to have sex outside of marriage at all, it'll affect them. Women who choose to have sex outside of marriage but choose to take the step of either a prophylactic or, in fact, having their tubes tied or saying to men, I'm not going to have sex with you until your tubes are tied. You know, those choices that people could make. Or the rhythm method. A lot of Catholics use that. So it'll affect every woman in your life who chooses to not take these steps. Got it.
Or if she has to travel across state lines because the local clinic closed up.
What clinic, by the way? And what pill is she talking about? What condition is she trying not to mention? Well, she'll get there. She'll get there suggestively.
Wife or mother could be the ones at higher risk of dying from undiagnosed cervical cancer because they have no access to regular gynecological care.
Yes, you understand, of course, that literal Orange Man bad, actual Hitler, the reincarnation thereof, is closing gynecological clinics. Just across the board. No gynecology for you.
Your daughter could be the one too terrified to call the doctor if she's bleeding during an unexpected pregnancy. Your niece could be the one miscarrying in her bathtub after the hospital turned her away.
Are we going to believe that medical providers, with your 15-year-old girl saying, I'm pregnant and I'm bleeding out, get off the phone. Get off the phone! Miscarriages or abortions. No, they're not. No, they're not. What a powerful speech to young men.
And this will not just affect women. It will affect you and your sons.
Okay, here we go. Now she gets to how this is going to affect young men.
The devastating consequences of teen pregnancy won't just be borne by young girls, but also by the young men who are the fathers.
Oh, you don't want that stinking child wrapped around your neck. How are you going to go get more strange? Got the stinking child wrapped around your neck, that burden. And we all know, every single one of us knows, that people born from teen parents can't succeed at life, ever. That's why when Jesus Christ was born, he chose a 37-year-old woman and a 47-year-old lawyer who were well established economically. Oh, wait. Mary was a teenager. Huh. That's interesting.
They too will have their dreams of going to college. Their entire future is totally upended by an unwanted pregnancy.
Yep, that happens every time. No one can ever overcome a teen pregnancy, certainly not a family member of ours. They got pregnant at 15 and 17, and now, well, they sit in ruin. They went through a kind of minor bankruptcy. A lot of people do. Well, that was after a marriage of about 15 years. They went through that bankruptcy. Then funny thing happened. They created a budget. They rebuilt life. They and their 5 kids thrive. They own multiple rental properties. And the husband continues to work because he enjoys his work, and it's adding to a firm retirement for them, ages 15 and 17, when they became pregnant and married. What a powerful message to young men.
If you and your partner are expecting a child, you will be right by her side at the checkups, terrified if her blood pressure is too high, or if there's an issue with the placenta, or if the ultrasound shows that the embryo was implanted in the wrong place.
Yeah, because then the doctor's going to go, I can't help you. You're better off just here. Let me get you a gun and shoot yourself in the head because it's going to be painful to die. with this baby growing inside you, this ectopic pregnancy, which, by the way, that does happen. Let's please not fall into the trap to say it doesn't happen. It's incredibly rare, but it happened to my mom. It happened to my mom. And incidentally, in most cases, these are not counted as abortions. And there is no doctor who's going to say to your wife or girlfriend, I'm very, very sorry, but you're going to have to just let that ectopic pregnancy, that fetus grow in your body until it bursts your fallopian tubes, and then you have a terrible infection and then die when you go septic. And it's going to hurt, but dang it, there's nothing I can do. Powerful speech to young men.
And the doctors aren't sure that they can intervene to keep the woman you love safe. If your wife is shivering and bleeding on the operating room table during a routine delivery gone bad, her pressure dropping as she loses more and more blood, or some unforeseen infection spreads and her doctors aren't sure if they can act, you will be the one praying that it's not too late. You will be the one pleading for somebody, anybody, to do something.
Well, at least you'll be able to plead. That's not going to happen, but this woman who is imitating her husband, Barack Hussein Obama, God bless Rush Limbaugh, who called him that. That man, Barack Obama, had an opportunity to vote to force doctors to provide medical treatment, life-sustaining treatment, to babies who survived an abortion. He wouldn't do that. During testimony from a woman who survived an abortion, he openly yawned. And then he did this, and he's famous for this. If you're not watching the video, this is me scratching my face, rubbing my cheek with my middle finger. His preference was that a little baby who can't say, I need help, but had survived an abortion, be left on a cold metal table to die from exposure, or just tossed into a laundry basket with medical waste. I mean, it'll die eventually. That's particularly obscene coming out of the mouth. Well, let me say this the other way. That's particularly obscene to have Michelle Obama mindlessly reading this from a teleprompter, imitating Barack Obama. And she continued to make this very, very powerful case to young men. The most powerful case made to young men in the entire campaign, according to a Democrat thought leader.
And then there is the tragic but very real possibility that in the worst case scenario, you just might be the one holding flowers at the funeral. You might be the one left to raise your children alone.
You know, like parents of kids in Chicago who are murdered on a daily basis, in shootings that are preventable if we'd simply treat gangs for what they are, which is organized crime, cartels, go at them with RICO and every other method. But we won't.
See, these are just some of the ways women die during childbirth. And I don't want to be a downer, y'all. But in many cases, there is no warning and things go bad very quickly. And when it happens, every second of hesitation or delay can lead to devastating outcomes. So I am asking y'all from the core of my being to take our lives seriously. Please.
Please continue to pursue sex with us free of consequence. Please continue to view the sex act as something that just feels good, throws your flesh. Don't make any discerning decisions in regard to the value of that sex act to God. Don't picture the let there be light moment when a baby's life begins. Don't do that. Don't consider any alternatives, such as I think I'll withhold from having sex with people prior to getting married and wanting kids, because that's impossible because everybody has to have sex all the time. So do that. Certainly don't confront a porn-soaked culture that encourages young men to view Michelle Obama and other women as property encourages young women to want to be viewed as property or the aggressor. Don't do any of that. Just go get some.